Hey, everybody, how are you? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Listen, this is 10 Minutes with Lolita, a power powwow. And today, guess what? We are talking about vulnerability in the workplace. And I got this question in my Facebook group, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. If you are not a part, come on to the table. Today, we are going live in that Facebook group. We're going live on LinkedIn and YouTube. We are on day number 8. Aren't you excited? Day number 8 of 10 days where we are doing 10-minute power powwows. And if you would like more, go ahead and head over to lolitawalker.com. In the meantime, in between time, I'm so excited to talk to you about today's topic. Yes, welcome to Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. If this is your first time here, I want to say welcome. I am so excited that you are here. Coaching is where I leave you with a couple nuggets just to challenge your thinking. Cocktails is all about celebrating the greatness of who you are. And then there are those juicy conversations, some of which we will engage in today. If you would like to leave a comment, go ahead and drop a comment into Facebook, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations, into LinkedIn, where you are also live, and also into YouTube. Come on in the room and say hello. I'm so excited to see you. Let's talk contagious vulnerability. Let's talk vulnerability in the workplace. And the specific question that came to me was, how much is too much vulnerability in the workplace? So I ask you. Listen, I remember when I first started in my corporate career. And I remember, just because I am just a bubbly personality and I'm an open book. So if people ask me, "Hey, how you doing?" I'll tell them. Not just fine, and what I found is that people are moving so quickly. So let's just start with saying hi. Let's just start with saying hi. If you ask someone, "Hey, how are you doing?" Mean it, right? Vulnerability is also being able to receive intently. It's not always just sharing. What do you think about that? It's not always just sharing. Sometimes it is listening intently. And if you don't have the time to really listen to someone's 3 second, 1 minute overview of how they're doing, then let's not ask right then at the moment. Okay. And then on the other side of that is trauma dumping and not wanting to do that in the workplace as well. So let's talk about what vulnerability can look like in the workplace, right? It could look like really being authentic, being you, showing up in all of you when you go to work. And this is at work, home, or life. It could be a little bit of honesty, openness, ownership. Today, I started, I think, 2 minutes late today. And on StreamYard, it starts on time. I don't know what you guys saw, but when you really schedule something, you set expectations for this thing starting on time. So what I want to say is, hey, guess what? I own being a couple minutes late, but I appreciate each of you all being here. And as you continue to come in the room, go ahead and share. What that is vulnerability in a space of ownership. It is, I don't need to make excuses for, we are standing right here. So now what are we going to do? Vulnerability, we talked about already, could be listening intently. Vulnerability can mean also sharing a little bit about who it is that you are. And the reason is because we're whole type of people. We're not just this one aspect of work. We are a whole us. So I'm a mom. I am a PTSA president, vice president. Let me not level all the way up because I do really well in my job as vice president, and that is where I want to stay. Um, I'm running for an elected position. Hey, all of you all in Prince George's County District 9, vote for Lolita E. Walker. I am running for the Board of Education seat as the representative for District 9, so I would love to have you in Prince George's County, Maryland. Okay, that's a side note. But I'm all of these things. I'm a poet. I am power. I am passion. I am purpose. I'm all of these things that's bubbled up into one. I'm a two-time author. But being able to, yes, it's okay to share who it is that you are because you bring a piece of your strengths to the table each and every day. Every single day you show up in your strengths. So I want to know that you are a well-rounded individual. And do you walk in with a big old billboard on your face? Not necessarily, but as you can bring these things into your work, into your workspaces, you can show up in it. It's absolutely okay to leverage that. I remember being in corporate, and some people who are entrepreneurs would say, I never tell anybody what I do at work. I never tell anybody what I do at work because they sometimes use it against me. They sometimes make assumptions on what it is that I do, and they sometimes push me over to the side. And I don't think you need to sell your products at work. But what I do think is that you bring strengths of being a powerful entrepreneur to work every day. And it's inside of those skill sets that you are able to do your job completely and intently. And when we can sit in the power of what our strengths are, then we walk, talk, and we behave differently. And that becomes the vulnerability of who it is that you are. That vulnerability equals connectability, right? When people connect with you, when they trust you, when they believe in you, when you show up in all of you, then you walk, talk, and behave differently. Now, the expectations are different for you to show up in it, but you don't have any problems with that because it is who you are. So we have to really be grounded. And if you haven't listened to any of the other 10-minute power powwows, then you got to go back and listen to them because we have been pouring in for 8 days and we're going to 10 days. Leave a comment if you're here, would love to hear it. And as we round out, to vulnerability, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on how you can bring your vulnerability to the table while still sitting in the power of who it is that you are. I left some tidbits here, but for the purposes of time, I want to read you something inside of my book. The intersection of you and change is my first book. I love it so much. But this one here is Can We Talk? Letters and Poems to Reclaim a Bolder You. And inside of this book is a poem called Dear Contagious Vulnerability. And while I won't read it all to you, I do want to read this piece to you. Let me look in the table of contents and see where it is. It is on page 41. And I saw it this morning and I said, this will be perfect for the folks who tune in and the folks that are on replay. Let me get to page 41. All right, all right, all right. It says, all right. This is the piece I wanted to read to you. So, of course, it starts with Dear Contagious Vulnerability, but there's this piece on page 44, which is kind of mid in poem, and it says, I want to ignite this powerful thing that throws me higher and higher to an elevation where my words are soliloquies. They are poured out as batter, then mixed with no lumps, sprinkled with a bit of power and infused with inspiration. Add 1 cup of sugar me up to the sweetness that I bring. Add 2 teaspoons of bitters because I have held on for so many years. Add a dash of spark and a dose to mark this place, which we have allowed the sacred spaces at this very moment, and then stir well. Let it marinate with courage and bake on 350 degrees because, well, my grandmama said so. And yes, we all know that everything cooks just right when you surround yourself with the right one. So let's serve it up in a club with houses full of stages that will expose all of your contagious vulnerability. My words have power, and may this power power my words of vulnerability. For being this courageous and this contagious, which has fueled the rising of these pages that have sparked a marathon of my pen. And I wanted to read that specific piece to you today because what I hear coming out of that continuously is what? Courage. It is standing in the power of your strengths. It is knowing who you are. It is knowing what fuels you. It is knowing that I walk in this thing and I'm not going to let any pieces of it not fill me. And I think far too often we allow ourselves to only bring a little teeny piece of us into the workplace. And it is okay to be the whole. You got to know it. You got to trust it. And that begins with starting with the foundation of you. I think that is so super important. And yes, oh, this is great. We have somebody inside of the Facebook group that says transparency lifts loads, right? Transparency lifts loads. I love that right there. Type your name and let me know who it is that you are so I can give you a shout out. But when we are transparent, it will lift the load. It will not make things so heavy. You don't have to think, okay, I'm here. I have to act this way. I have to do this way. And there's some people that are not going to be your cup of tea. And there's some people where you're not their cup of tea either. And know that that's absolutely okay. We walk in work to do a job, but we bring ourselves wholeheartedly there. And I love this piece about transparency. Yes, Andrea Barnes. Thank you so much. And the power that is right there about this transparency lifting loads, and I say it all the time, is that imagine yourself at a bus stop. We're going to leave what doesn't serve us right there. And in this coaching, cocktails, and conversations, what we are doing as well is leaving the breadcrumbs that don't serve us. And we're taking what it is on our way that can help serve us. You've got to be clear. Clarity plus confidence equals the commitment of how you are going to show up every single day. So walk in it. Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable by walking in the authentic you. Know it, trust it, believe it. That is what I am leaving with you today. And Andrea, I thank you so much because transparency absolutely does lift loads. Don't trauma dump, but absolutely be who it is that you are. You have so many strengths that are peppered within you. And that, for that reason right there, you will achieve the results that you need. You breathe. You take a look at these other power powwows and you lean all the way in. Visit me at lolitawalker.com and I would absolutely love to have another conversation with you. Take care. See you guys later. Bye.